Hello, and thank you for joining the Helping Black Boys Thrive show. And this is episode number 2 with Jason Allen. My name is Tressica Hamilton, and I'm the founder and CEO of the Sid Center and HelpingBlackBoysThrive.com. And today with Jason, we'll be discussing how to help Black boys thrive in school. Okay, and I just want to introduce Jason Allen. And Jason, will you tell us some more about your background?
Hi, okay, I'm trying to make sure I'm working this. Jason Allen here from Atlanta. I am a educator, 15 years, currently working in special education in my mission to help more Black boys who across the spectrum have the highest numbers in special education departments around our country.
Okay, thank you. And you also published the EdLanta blog, blogging about Black boys and this educational system.
Okay, sorry, I'm trying to do the computer thing. But yes, I blog with EdLanta as a part of the Education Post. We have about maybe 3 to 4 blogs that come out throughout the week. So if people want to subscribe to our blog, so when it comes out, they can get them directly. But we feature the voices of students, parents, teachers, school leaders, and those who really do a lot of work around education reform. And specifically with our new focus on Black boys and increasing the achievement level.
Okay, great. Okay. And so I just wanted to talk about helping Black boys thrive in school. And since you work with special education students, you're more familiar with some of the struggles that they're having. Do you have more Black boys in your classroom?
Yes, most of the Black boys on my caseload are in special education. And we were just going over data of our school, and we were showing how most of the kids who were not proficient are those who are in special education programs that we offer, specifically Black boys. So yes, it is definitely a dynamic that we're seeing in our schools.
Okay. Do you have any insight as to why there are more Black boys in special education than other students?
Well, I mean, it's an ongoing debate. I'm the board chairman for Ivy Prep Academy, which is the state of Georgia's first charter commission school for all girls. And girls do learn differently than boys. I mean, it's not, saying that boys can't learn. I think that there are a lot of stereotypes and, you know, negative perceptions of the way that boys learn. I think that we need to be conscious of how we're presenting education. I'm a part of the Black Men's Fellowship, and they drive the point that there are 2% of Black males who are in classrooms across the nation. So if we know that early education from the age of 4 to the age of 12 is critical in the development of children, and children never see a Black male in front of them as a teacher, then that does a lot because they see everything else. We also have to be mindful that the media doesn't always portray Black males in the most positive light. So, we don't have the positive reinforcement in the media or in our daily lives. And so when do Black children, specifically Black boys, see an educated Black man standing in front of them, giving them directions that are not for a basketball play or a football play or something related to sports? Like, when do they actually see a Black male that is saying, we're going to spend this time reading, we're going to spend this time designing a robot, we're going to spend this time, doing science exploration? They need to see more of that. So I would say there's a growing dynamic, but the way that we can, really help bridge that gap is to, one, effectively recruit more Black male educators and also retain them. And a lot of school districts have challenges with doing that.
Okay. What are some of the challenges that they're having with retaining Black male educators?
The pay is the biggest thing that is the challenge of why school districts can't retain Black male educators.
Okay. Okay, because I've seen articles about that, about the lack of Black male teachers. So the pay is one of the reasons.
Mhm.
And another thing too, with a lot of Black boys, especially with kids who are coming from homes that, well, the environment, they might not have a Black male figure in their home. And then does that put extra stress on the Black male educators because the kids need more
I would say it just puts a strain on the school overall. There is an organization that I've recently written about, Fathers Incorporated, in Atlanta, that has received some grant funds, and their project is to expand the availability of literacy access to Black boys. And so they have partnered with over now 75 schools and barbershops across the metro Atlanta area. And so now you're seeing, fathers, Black fathers who are making reading the new norm in Atlanta for Black boys. And so you're going in barbershops and you're seeing libraries. You're going to schools and you're seeing more Black men who are a part of Greek organizations, or 100 Black men, or who are a part of other organizations that are partnering together to really reach our Black boys.
Okay, that's good, because that's something that's important to helping them thrive.
Yes.
Like I said, they have that environment, the home environment impacts their school performance and what they're going through in school.
Yes, and also we have to, as a community, realize it takes a village to raise a child. Personal beliefs. Oh, everybody should come from a two-parent household, and a lot of people have that mindset if that's where you come from. But then you have people who, don't have that traditional model. We have people who are raised by grandparents and godparents and foster parents and older siblings and single parents and mixed households. So we have to be mindful of that. And how do we help reach, Black boys who have been identified as being in crisis? That's why, again, if we go back to the 90s and we look at, the growth and expansion of gangs in America, well, research shows, and it continues to show, that these are kids who are neglected and they're abused and they're abandoned and they're seeking, appreciation and acknowledgement and self-awareness, and they want somebody to say, hey, we love you, we care about you, we protect you, we feed you, we give you a place to live. That's why so many kids are seeking refuge in those type of environments, because the family life is just not together. And so you have to look at, also, I'm a big advocate for family and community engagement. A lot of school districts don't understand this. They don't support this work. And so when your families are suffering, and we don't understand that, if families don't have a consistent place to lay their head, but we're trying to drive homework, well, which one is a parent going to be thinking about more? Homework, or are my children going to have somewhere safe to lay their heads and be able to use the restroom, eat, and even do homework? And so parents are having to make those type of decisions. And if you don't come from that background, you don't think that that's real. You think that, oh, you can just go out and get internet, and you can go out and get a phone, and you can go out and do things, and you can if you have that type of access and you have that type of background. But if that's not your background and you don't have that resource, then it's just not that easy. So that's my experience with the challenge of really continuing the work on the home front from the school.
Okay, because they need to have their basic needs met before they can even concentrate on it.
Yes, they do. They have to have their basic needs met, and that's a big part of the work, is having their needs met.
And how important, because I know with a lot of kids who may not have that family dynamic that helps them as far as feeling wanted and having their basic needs met, how important is it then for the Black male teachers to become mentors to those Black boys to help them thrive in school?
So I think that, schools that have the support, especially Black male educators, one of the things that I encourage people to do is find, I don't even want to say, what would be known as a support group, but there are groups. There's Profound Gentlemen, that is a group of Black male educators on the South region that, kind of connects people. We're able to share best practices. Mentoring is a big piece of this. You can be a Black male teacher that is also a mentor. And people look at, oh, well, I have to start a mentoring group. That's not always the way that you have to mentor. You can mentor through a club or organization, whether it is the, whether it is the, I lost my train of thought because the dog started barking. Hold on one second, Mark. Like sponsoring a club organization, for example, robotics or the chess club, or an organization that can connect Black boys to learning, are different ways that you can mentor them and try to teach them life skills and decision making and different things of that nature that will really help them in their daily lives. And so those are the things outside of the classroom that are needed to help what's happening inside of the classroom.
And that helps with the community engagement that the school needs.
Okay. I'm trying to.
Okay, so I think it's for those resources because a lot of times parents also they have a lack of resources
Yes.
to help support their child.
The other piece too, there are school districts. I mean, DeKalb County, Clayton County, Atlanta Public Schools. They do have parent liaisons in most schools, and they have a family, engagement department, or specialists that can, really help the school, connect resources to families so that education can continue at home. And so one of the things is we have to make sure that those resources are on the front line. That's one challenge that schools can do better about, making sure that the resources are more visible. Communities, again, city council persons, mayors, elected officials, nonprofits can come together and better support schools and make sure that they have, the resources they need so that families in their very own communities can be successful. That's the other challenge. Well, Buckhead has resources, but if I can't get on the train to get there, or if I can't get on the bus to get to a train station to get to where you are, that is still a barrier. So why aren't we just bringing the resources to where our families are? So that's one of the challenges, and a solution that I give to school districts all of the time. And the other thing is parents have to open their mouths and say, hey, I need help.
Yeah.
Hey, this is what I'm seeing with my child and what can I do? Parents have to get out of the mindset that, oh, I'm just sending my child to the early learning center and the school, and they are to handle their discipline and to feed them and to make sure they're safe. Yes, we do have a job, but parents also have a job too. And school is not just between the hours of 8 and 4 o'clock. School is all day, every day when you wake up at your house. That's when school starts. And so parents also teach our children, and so do our families. And so parents have to be mindful of, well, what is my family doing around my young child? Are they using profane language? Are they gossiping? Are they, doing things that would teach them bad habits that they don't need? And so again, these are things that parents have to be checked on. And they have to say, okay, am I really making sure that I'm putting my child in the best environment so that they can be their best? And those are things that really play a huge part in how our Black boys are matriculated through schools.
Yes, so those are good ones. And what would be some, because I know some parents say they may not be able to get off work to meet with a teacher, but are there other ways they can keep in touch with the teacher?
Right now, exactly what we're doing. Google Classroom is a big thing. I encourage my teachers. So, for example, I know Atlanta Public Schools does this, but Ivy also does this as well. We have our teachers that are on Twitter and their own social media. So, as parents have their own personal accounts, they can go to the school's, Facebook page or Twitter account and see, oh, what are they talking about? What homework is coming home? What resources are being available? Again, the resources are out there and schools are trying their best to make the mark, but parents have to step up and do the same. And so I don't want that conversation to be missed, because there are, again, organizations like Lily's Foundation, Fathers Incorporated, 100 Black Men, Greek organizations, alumni associations that have volunteered and partnered with schools. But again, we can only do so much if we're showing up to events and there are no parents. Or there are 15 parents out of a school that has 500 kids, and you have 378 of those kids who are suffering. So, parents have to be more proactive. They have to reach back out. I want to make it clear, too, that there are people that are reaching out. School superintendents can only do so much. If they provide all of these resources and create departments, and parents are still in the mindset that I'm too busy, or, that's not important, let me just sign off on something. We have to change our mindset about how we are really making sure our children are successful. And they are really a crisis. I mean, a lot of our kids don't have some of the basic foundational skills that they need. How are we as a community, as a village, helping them to build those skills? And parents again play a major role in this. They play a major role.
They do. And that sounds like one of the key problems is parent engagement, increasing parent engagement in the schools.
Yeah. And it's not rocket science. I mean, I grew up in the 90s, and I remember when, my parents went to PTA meeting, everybody in the community was there, whether you had kids or not. And that's a big change. Grandparents were there, retired teachers were there, the church was there. So we have to go back to, okay, well, if this was working then, what's missing now? And these factors are missing from meetings. Where are the churches and communities and the mosques and communities? Where are they at these meetings? Where are the retired postal workers and retired educators and retired doctors that live in the communities? Where are they? Where are other organizations who are part of the community? Where are they at these meetings talking about the betterment of our children and their success? So yes.
Yeah. And like you said, we need the village again in a Black community.
Yes.
Yeah. That's important.
Yeah. So those would be my thoughts on that. I could go on and on about family and community engagement, but I also want to say that though about how we need to change our mindsets about education,
Yeah.
and also understanding that a lot of the this generation's okay, it's saying, can you hear me? It's changing something, but I don't know. Okay, sorry. Just changing our mindset about education and what that looks like, and reaching a lot of our families whose parents may not have, graduated from high school or, really understood the process of why education is so important. I think that we also have to make strides with reaching those families. I was doing a lesson with a group of my kids the other day, listening to CNN, and there was a researcher on there who was saying that, a part of the challenge with this Trump era of citizens is that a lot of our citizens are not educated. And people don't think that that's something that's a norm, but it is. So, we all went through school, and it was a big thing for us to graduate high school and, to have some type of formal training, whether we went to technical school or four-year college or university, or we went into the military. Our generations have some type of background where a lot of people don't now. And so they did attribute that to a lot of people, the way that people vote. It's like they're voting on an ideal of something that really doesn't benefit our country or the people that actually look like them. And so it's just a misconception that we vote by race now. We vote by belief. So if I believe in the Confederate, well, that's how I'm going to vote, even if those things don't benefit my daughter, right? Or they don't benefit my child or my wife or, my family. I'm still going to vote that way because the way that this society is being driven, it's like we're going by outdated beliefs and race. And so now it's, oh, if the Black race is empowered, we're threatened by that. And so that's why that speaker really talked a lot about, why we're seeing a big pickup in, Black boys again being shot in just public eye. Again, a young man in Alabama who they found, not to have done anything wrong. He had his license to carry. He was really trying to help a, situation that was happening at the mall, but the police targeted him because, oh, he's Black and, oh, he has on a hoodie, so he fits a description. But people have been taught that. So how do we how do you, untrain a mind that has been taught something that is detrimental to the lives of others? And that's what we have to do when we think about educating Black boys. We really have to teach them how to survive, but we also have to teach them that they have to show society that we aren't the stereotypes that we see so much in the media.
Yes, true. And that's a huge burden. And then just trying to change mindsets is such a challenge. So Black boys have to deal with a lot in this society today because it's such a huge burden on them.
It is. It's so interesting because I'm watching my screen where I can see myself is still talking, and it's so interesting because I'm like, oh my God, that is interesting. So yeah, but I would definitely say that, you know, this topic is something that more people should be talking about.
Yeah.
And also too, I'm rolling out a major project in January as a Black male educator that leads an all girls school, because the other point is we think that there are a lot of schools and a lot of people that make the assumption that, oh well, because they're Black men they only need to be working with Black boys. But no, our Black girls are damaged too,
Yeah.
because they have fathers who they have seen shot down in the streets innocently. So I also want to say that too. Like, everyone who is shot down as a Black male doesn't have a record or doesn't quote unquote deserve it. That's something that's wrong with our society, and we have to unteach that. But there are a lot of Black girls who suffer from not having a father figure in a home, and we make the assumption all the time that, oh, Black men are in prison. Well, Black men also have illnesses. Black men also are, you know, fathers that may have divorced wives or wives that have divorced them for whatever reason. So, you know, we also have to take the negative out of the narrative,
Yes.
and really make the narrative more realistic so that, you know, we can truly heal the needs of our children. And I said all that to say that I'm coming out with a special project in January that will connect more Black male educators to Black girls as well, because Black men need to be present in the education of Black girls so they understand this is how men should be treating you. This is how, you know, they should be engaged with you. This is what you should, you know, develop in regards to relationships with men, because now you have a solid, you know, male that is educated, that is respectful, that is professional, that you can see and equate to something different other than what you see in the reality TV shows and online and in the media on a constant daily basis.
And that's so important because you have to change what they're seeing in order to change the
Yes.
narrative.
We have to change. We have to change what they're seeing, and we can't change what they're seeing if we're not present.
Right.
And so everybody may not be a teacher, but so everybody can be a mentor. Everybody can volunteer. Everybody can support in some way. And so, you know, my encouragement would be, you know, we had TV shows like A Different World that, you know, gave us Colonel Taylor and they gave us Dwayne. You know, we had these different representations of Black male educators that were cool and they were family men and they were community leaders and, you know, they were change agents. And we saw that. And so, you know, we weren't afraid to go into schools and be science teachers and math teachers and English teachers like myself, or social studies teachers or debate coaches or, you know, literacy coaches. Like we had Black men who were in schools doing those things. And so now, how do we build upon that so that we are really making a difference in the lives of more of our children? And that's, you know, that's my goal in trying to help that number change.
And that's good. So I'm looking forward to you launching that project because that is important. The representation of positive Black role models is very important.
Awesome.
And you said that'll be in January.
Yes, and it's going to be through the blog EdLanta. So, you know,
Okay.
you'll be hearing about it and you'll see it. It's going to be a big thing. You know, we're going to really be engaging um, the young ladies at Ivy Prep in Atlanta, and
Okay.
you know, really be having some good dialogue to really get their ideas and to really connect them um, with some positive images of Black males,
Good.
professionals, educators specifically, and those who will really be helping to be a father figure in a sense to some of these young ladies. So it's going to be a really, really good project. I'm really excited about it coming out in January.
Good. I look forward to it. A lot of them do need father figures. Okay. So thank you so much. Is there anything else that you want to add before we end it conversation?
I would just say that again, you know, my encouragement to people who, you know, may get a chance to see some of these clips or, you know, just continue to stay connected to you and get information that, you know, go to your community school. You know, I always tell people that even if you don't have kids in the community, you know, education is a major tax. And so we pay for the schools in our community. So, yeah, you know, on that free day, you know, everybody's like, I always want me time and free time, but, you know, take an hour outside of the time that you just have to spend at home and go up to the school. And even if it's making copies, like people don't think that's a major thing, but it is a major thing for a teacher that has 5 or 6 classes and has children that are really suffering and have a lot of academic challenges. Making those copies really makes a difference, or going up and reading to a class for 15 minutes really makes a difference in the lives of those kids and the educator, because the educator feels supported. The kids are like, wow, somebody's different coming in and reading to us and really making it exciting. Like, go into a middle school classroom and talk to them about the importance of time management and really, developing their level up, game, in a sense. Like, how are you really going to level up and be a boss in this type of society? We need people to come in and volunteer at school. So, that's what I would definitely leave. The engagement is key to school turnaround, and that starts with each one of us. So alumni, former students. I even had alumni who were former students coming back and volunteering with their classmates that were grades, below them. So it's not just a educator thing. This is an education movement, and everyone, father, mother, younger brother, younger sister, older siblings, uncles, aunts, godparents, grandparents. We need everybody. We need all hands on deck, working with schools and volunteering. So, that's what I would encourage people to do. And again, it's not always about money. And it's not always about time, but it is about making a difference. And if you are really interested in doing it, there are so many creative ways that you can reach out to schools and help. And so that's what I believe, as a final note.
Okay, well, thank you. Hopefully more people will volunteer to support their local schools.
Yeah, and always I would tell people, stay connected to our blog. There are a lot of, resources there. There are a lot of issues and topics that I talk about, regarding Black boys. There's a blog on there right now about, schools that are banning Black boys from having dreadlocks. Well, I have locks. And, I talk about that. That was one of the things that inspired me to grow out my hair, because there are Black boys in schools who already don't see Black male teachers, and they don't see anyone who looks like them, because there's not anyone that has, locks at their school, but they're also being forced out of schools because of, the way that they're deciding to wear their hair. And so again, there's a lot of representation that's needed. And these things I really bring out and highlight on the blog. So, education is power, but reading is also the key to success. And of course, that may be a little bias coming from an ELA teacher, but it is definitely true. So, definitely check out the blog, stay connected to the things that we're talking about, and the advocacy that we're building, because we're building advocacy around a group that has been experimented on for so many decades. But are we truly going to step up and say, this is what we're doing for Black boys to make sure that they have a fair shot and a chance to be successful? And so I just encourage everybody to take part of what we're doing, check out our blog, and stay connected.
Okay. Thank you, Jason, so much. And again, this is Jason Allen. He's a Black male educator, and also he writes the EdLanta blog at edlanta.org. Okay, so thank you so much. And again, the topic was Helping Black Boys Thrive in School. And thank you for joining the Helping Black Boys Thrive show. And thank you, Jason.
All right, and happy holidays to everyone. I look forward to seeing the link and connecting again. Thank you so much.
Happy holidays to you too. Thank you. Take care.
All right. You too. Bye-bye.